Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Sorry we're in a little bit of a different setup here. I just got out of the movie Uncharted. Just got out of the theater. Just wanted to give my quick thoughts on the movie before before I forget anything. So yeah, today we are talking about Uncharted, the new live-action adaptation of a video game property that I love dearly. I fucking love Uncharted. I was going to, before I decided on a Batman review series, I was going to do an Uncharted review series of all four of the games leading up to the movie, because I really am a big Uncharted fan. Uncharted and Last of Us are like my two favorite video game properties of all time. I love Uncharted and I love Last of Us. So, let's get into the review of Uncharted. So Uncharted, ever since I've heard that this movie was announced, I was partially excited, partially nervous, and partially disappointed with some of the news. So when they announced Uncharted, they announced it, but they also announced it with Tom Holland, with Nathandrake, and I immediately was like, are y'all fucking kidding me? Like, come on. I like Tom Holland as much as the next guy. I love him as Spider-Man. I've seen him in other things, and he's great. I love Tom Holland, but he's not Nathandrake. I'm sorry. You either could have got Nathan Fillion like we did in that, which, by the way, if you have not seen Uncharted, the fan film, on YouTube, I'll put a link down below in the description. By all means, please check that out. It's the best rendition of Uncharted that I've ever seen. Like they capture the third-person angle. They cast Nathan Fillion in the role. They cast, I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head, but the dude from Avatar that was supposed to be Cable, and Stephen Lang. They casted Stephen Lang as Sully. It's an awesome fan film. I fucking love it. So I just wanted to give a little shout out to that movie. But on top of it, Tom Holland in the role as Nathan Fillion, or Tom Holland in the role as Nathandrake. I immediately knew as soon as they announced him as Nathandrake, I was like, oh, okay, so we're doing that. We're doing the young Nathandrake that we saw glimpses of in Uncharted 3. Okay, that could work. Then they casted Mark Wahlberg as Sully. No. No. Didn't like it. Never liked it. But I was hopeful. I was benefit of the doubt. I was like, let's see. I'm not going to judge a book by its cover. For all I know, Tom Holland might look just like Nathandrake if you put him in the right costumes, put him in the right wardrobe. Same thing with Mark Wahlberg. I'm not going to complain until I see footage. Then the trailer came out. And the trailer didn't shock me at all. It didn't shock me. If anything, it made me super fucking worried. If anything, it gave me exactly everything that I thought it was going to be. And it was exactly what I thought it was. So, Uncharted the movie. Best way I can describe it is it's disappointing. To me. And I'm a huge Uncharted fan. I went with a friend of mine tonight. He knew nothing about Uncharted, and he fucking loved it. And I feel like that's going to be the general reception of this movie. Uncharted fans like myself are not going to like it and are going to be disappointed because they decide to change certain things from the games, and people who know nothing about Uncharted are going to like it because they're just enjoying what they get out of the movie. They don't know the backstory. They don't know anything from the games. They don't know anything. And I feel like that's going to be the general reception of this movie. I felt that ever since the trailer came out because the trailer gave me that initial reaction. Uncharted fans like me didn't like it. Fans who didn't know shit like him loved it. So I feel like that's going to be the general reception of this movie. We'll see. This is Thursday night. We'll see how the movie performs this weekend, but that's just how I feel like it's going to go. That's just my prediction. But what did I think of Uncharted? So I thought it was disappointing, and I want to get into why I thought it was disappointing. But I want to start with my positives first, because I don't want to seem like I'm shitting on this movie, because I do have a lot of problems, but I want to get the positives out the way real quick. So Tom Holland as Nathandrake, I thought it was a decent casting. Decent casting. He had certain mannerisms of Nathandrake from the games, certain jokes he would tell, certain lines he would say, certain mannerisms is just like Nathandrake, pulled right out of the fucking games. And I'm like, hey, that's Nathandrake. And one touch I did like in the movie is they would give him costumes straight from the games. Like there's a scene later in the movie where him and Chloe are about to drown, and he's wearing the exact same shirt from Uncharted 4. Later, we see it in the trailer. Later, when they're recreating the whole the whole him falling thing from Uncharted 3. When we see that, he's wearing the exact same wardrobe as in Uncharted 3. So I like that attention to detail with Nathandrake, where they give him the proper costumes from the game. That was a nice touch. That was very much a nice touch. I like the little Easter eggs to the games, like it's not necessarily an Easter egg, but the necklace, that's a nice little touch. There's a scene later where Nathandrake opens a briefcase and you see the Naughty Dog logo for a split second. That was cool. Fucking Nolan North cameos in this movie, which I thought was a really cool thing. Him and Nathandrake have a little conversation, which is cool. I was disappointed we didn't get Troy Baker, though. I was disappointed. That would have been really cool to see Troy Baker. If he was in the movie and I missed it, by all means, let me know down below. But yeah, Troy Baker didn't cameo, but I was disappointed. But Nolan North did, which I was very happy about. I was very happy that they got Nolan North to cameo in this movie. Like I said, there's little winks and nods to the games, whether it's in tiny things like that, which I did appreciate as an Uncharted fan. So I liked the Easter eggs. I liked certain aspects of Tom Holland as Nathandrake. We'll get into it in more detail, but I liked certain aspects of Tom Holland as Nathandrake. Other than, I like some of the set pieces, like you've seen this in the trailer where the two ships are flying and stuff. There's some really cool set pieces. The movie itself does look good. I love the cinematography of it. It definitely looks like an Uncharted, Indiana Jones type of movie. Which again, props. I want it to look like that. The jungles look like the jungles from the games. You know, later on when they're fighting a bunch of people on the ship, it looks exactly like it does in Uncharted 4. So props to the people who are the set designers from this movie, because they did an awesome job recreating certain aspects from the games, set-wise, display-wise. Because if you ever played Uncharted, you know it's all about scenery in the Uncharted games. It's all about scenery. So I was happy with that. Let's see. Outside of that, I did like how they kept certain aspects of Sam and Nathan's story together. Like in the game, him and Sam were from an orphanage. So in the movie, when they talked about their backstory a little bit, they did stick true to him and Sam were from an orphanage. I did like that. So outside of, I guess let's just jump right into it. Outside of those positives, I don't really have a lot of good things to say about this movie. So just starting from the top, working down to the bottom, they completely stripped away any sort of bond Sully and Nathan have. In the games, him and Sully are like brothers. They're tight. They're very much, I'm not going to stab you in the back, you're not going to stab me in the back. Like, they very much have a connection. And that's even established all the way in Uncharted 1. Him and Sully have a connection. In this movie, Sully is a constant douchebag, is a constant manipulator, a constant liar, he's just a horrible person. And I hate that. I hate that they changed that with Sully, because Sully was such a charismatic dude and such a loving dude, and he definitely had charisma with Nathandrake in the games, and the fact that they stripped that away and made him an asshole completely botched the character, in my opinion. And Mark Wahlberg, to me, did not act like Sully. He didn't even act like Sully whatsoever. He didn't even try to act like Sully. He just acted like himself, which to me shows some disrespect, because if you're going to go to a video game property, or any property, whether it's a DC, Marvel, whatever, and you don't even try to act like the character from the games, that just to me shows you didn't care. That to me shows you were just really in it for the big money. Because, oh, Uncharted, it's a big video game program, I'm going to make some money off of it. So to me, that shows some disrespect, and to me that shows that Mark Wahlberg didn't care. If you didn't care enough to put some type of mannerisms from Sully from the games, if you didn't even attempt to act like Sully, then that to me just shows you just did not fucking care. So that pissed me off. I hate that they completely ruined the backstory of Sam and Nathan. Again, why they stick true to the whole him in the orphanage, the whole point of Sam was you didn't find out of him until Uncharted 4. And the fact that there's this whole mystery of, oh, this person killed Sam and all this stuff, it completely took away that mystery. It completely took away that whole, I know where this is going. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I completely feel like they botched the whole him and Sam storyline. Because if they would have stick true to the games, him and Sam's story could have been a whole movie, and it could have been something that could have really hit hard when Nathan and Sam reunite. So now when I feel like they reunite in a potential sequel, I'm not going to feel that emotional weight. I'm going to be like, okay, there's Sam. So there's that. Another thing is, Yelena or Alana, it's either Alana or Yelena. It's been a minute since I played the Uncharted games. I can't remember how they pronounce her name. I think it's Elena. She's not even anywhere in this movie. I mean, for all I know, she might be the girl that Nathan was flirting with in the beginning of the movie, but they didn't give any hints to that, unless I just completely missed it. By all means, if I missed it, let me know down below. But there was no Elena whatsoever. Chloe, now, while I like Chloe in this movie, I forgot to mention her in my positives. I do like Chloe. The actress they got for Chloe, I thought did a great job. She looked like Chloe. She acted like Chloe. But outside of that, Chloe's kind of a waste in this movie. She doesn't do much. So I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get much more of Chloe doing something other than, oh yeah, I'm going to be a nice person to Nathan and then stab him in the back, and then Yelena just drives off in a boat. Cool. Let's see. Outside of that, a lot of action sequences were good, but they were very much too Fast and Furious for me. Everything has to be fucking zoom, 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 and like the whole third act to me just felt like something out of Fast and Furious 10, and it was just crazy. And again, I know Uncharted is known for that shit, but it just gets to the point where it's like unbelievable. Uncharted to me has always tried to stay grounded, has always tried to stay somewhat true to being realistic, where this movie just went like, yeah, let's go Fast and Furious with it. Let's have fucking airplanes carrying ships, old-ass pirate ships, and we're just fucking zooming across the Pacific Ocean, and then, like, they crash into each other sometimes. It's like, what is this? Is this Fast and Furious? Is Vin Diesel gonna come out of here somewhere and just fucking zoom? I mean, fucking Sully takes a ship and flies it over this helicopter in a ship. Like it's some type of Fast and Furious shit. Like it was insane to me. So yeah, no Elena. Action sequences were too fucking like ridiculous for me. And then on top of it, while I love the fact that they stay true to Nathandrake's outfits, they didn't give him a gun. They didn't give him anything until the third act. He was all hand-to-hand combat throughout the whole movie until the last third, like the last act, the last 10 to 15 minutes. He gets a gun. He gets his classic belt, and he looks like Nathan from the games. And what does he do? He gets a gun. He goes to shoot it. A ship knocks into the other ship. Gun goes flying. What? How are you gonna give Nathan his classic weapon, his fucking pistol? How are you gonna give him his classic pistol and his outfit and everything just for him to pull it out, about to go shoot, and then it gets knocked out of his hand? What? That's like giving Mega Man his blaster, and then as he's about to go shoot, the thing fucking like deactivates and he has to throw it away. That's Mega Man's classic blaster. You don't do that. Just like when you think of a pistol, you think of Nathandrake. When he pulls it out and shoots it and it gets knocked out of his hand, what the fuck is that shit, guys? What was that? What was that? It just, I don't know. It's not a bad video game adaptation by all means. Again, someone like my friend I just took to go see it tonight, he didn't know anything about it. And now he's interested to go play Uncharted because of the way I spoke, the way I said, oh no, the games are better. So if anything, maybe this movie will convince people who've never played the games that watch this and go, that was good, let me go play the games and actually get into the franchise. Maybe there's one good positive that this movie will come out of. But outside of that, this was just so disappointing. Because there was so much potential. You had so much. You were this close. You were this close to greatness. You had certain elements from the games in there. You had certain characters in there from the games. You had certain things that if you just would have moved it around right, you could have knocked it out of the park. But instead, you decided to do what every other video game adaptation does. Let's take certain elements from the popular Uncharted games, like 3 and 4, and make our own movie out of it. This movie is literally Uncharted 3 and 4 combined. Which I don't know why. Again, I've said this before on the channel. I don't mind adaptations. I don't mind different adaptations of properties. That I don't mind. But Video games to me are just so, like, it's right there in front of you guys. Like I said this with Resident Evil, it's right there in front of you. Why don't you just follow what the games did? Again, I'm not asking for a shot-for-shot exact replica of the games. Just follow what the games did. Adapt Uncharted 1. Not necessarily strictly adapt it, but adapt the story of Uncharted 1. And on top of it, do your own thing. So I don't understand why they decided, let's do a Uncharted movie that has nothing to do with the Uncharted games, but we're going to take elements from the Uncharted games, make our own story out of it, and then on top of it, the post-credit scene for Uncharted sets up the story of Uncharted 1. So why didn't you just do Uncharted 1? I don't get that. Video game movies have that problem. Resident Evil had that problem, and this movie has that problem too, where they want to toy around the video games. They want to toy around. They want to whack it. They don't necessarily want to delve deep into it. They want to take certain elements, make their own thing, while also looking at the video games and go, oh, hey, that's pretty cool. Let me take that. Oh, hey, that's pretty cool. Let me take that. That's what they do, and I don't understand. When you have Uncharted 1, 2, 3, and 4, there's 4 movies you could make out of that right there if you just follow the fucking path. I'm not saying you gotta stick to it strictly, but follow the template. If Uncharted 1 has the story of El Dorado and Nathan, then do El Dorado and Nathan. I don't get that. So again, the more I talk about this movie, the more I get pissed off at this movie. It was disappointing to see as an Uncharted fan, because I do love this franchise and it could have been a great movie. But the fact that they just dropped the ball on it and they took certain elements and did their own thing with it, I'm not a fan of. So again, not a horrible movie by any chance of the means. It's an entertaining movie, but honestly, if you scrapped the name Uncharted and called these characters something else, this ain't Uncharted. This is a fun wannabe Indiana Jones Pirates of the Caribbean movie, to be honest with you. And it's disappointing because Uncharted has a certain feel about it. People who played the video games know this. Uncharted has a certain feel to it. It has a certain look to it. It has a certain storytelling to it. And they could have honestly captured that, but they didn't. So, I don't know. My main thing is I'm disappointed, because this could have been something more. This could have been something that video games could have been like, yes, this is the new fucking template that video games follow. This could have been something great, but instead they dropped the ball on it and they disappointed me. So let me know what you guys think down below. Do you love this movie? Do you hate this movie? And if you are an Uncharted fan, by all means, let me know how you feel. If you're not an Uncharted fan and you love it, by all means, I praise and I'm glad you enjoyed the movie. Because hopefully the movie will make you now want to go play the video games or get more deep into this franchise. Because this franchise is a very popular franchise. And it has a lot of story in it that I think people who don't play video games should know about. Because it's so beautiful. So, but yeah, you let me guys know what you think down below. Do you love this movie? Do you hate this movie? Let me know where you stand. And as always, I see you guys in the next one. Peace!